Hello Pisces, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm super excited to dive right into your reading today. Let's see what's going on for Pisces. Please, Spirit. All right, Pisces. Wow, okay. Okay. Right as I was getting ready to turn on the camera to record this video, I literally got this, like, it's a shame that we were so young then, or that it's like it gave me the impression of two people that had a lot to learn about themselves, and you know, everything was there, the connection was there, the attraction was there, but it's like the timing wasn't right. I don't know. That's just like, it gave me this, it almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was it was like, I felt so sad. I felt like, oh man, you know? And so I'm kind of not surprised to see the cards that came out, because I feel like they're related to that energy of, it's like you kind of, it's this energy of like, wanting to like call somebody that you used to be with, or them wanting to call you and say, oh my gosh, I finally figured this out, or this drove you crazy about this, but like I've changed, or I've evolved, or I've matured, or so I don't know if this is you, if this is them, if this is something that you think and something that they think, but it's kind of like someone from your past that is like a standout, as far as like people go, where, you know, there wasn't some big, massive critical flaw. It was just, I feel like the timing wasn't right. All right, so let's see what we have here, okay? So we have, I am worthy of the love I seek. Let's rebuild what we lost. Face what's hidden. Truth will set you free. I'm learning to open my heart once more. Respect begins with me. I question if I'm what you need. I honestly feel that they're either, I don't know if you're weighing heavy on each other's minds, or if one person is weighing heavy on one person's mind. I'm not really 110% sure. But I am getting, definitely somebody is weighing heavy on someone's mind. If it's not both of you, like if it's not a mirrored energy and you don't have someone weighing heavy on your mind, then Pisces, I feel like you're weighing heavy on someone else's mind. It's kind of like there wasn't a really good reason why it couldn't work, except we weren't ready for it. It's like, yeah, there were a lot of little things. It was like, I felt like my needs weren't quite being met here, or I needed more of this here, but it's like, we've both changed. We've both matured. We've both learned lessons. We've both, you know, had other experiences and lived life in such a way that has kind of changed us or evolved us. And it's like, I feel like one person, or maybe both people, you may have really questioned if you were what the other one needed and if they were what you needed, because I do feel these incompatibilities of like, I just wish it was different like this, or I just wish it was different like that. But it's not like major decay of trust, or you know, it's not, they're not these big gaps or in morals or values, or you know, disrespect or dishonor or disloyalty. It's more of, I was still kind of figuring out who I was. Like I didn't really know. And I'm getting heavy Ace of Pentacles vibes here. And I feel like we are all a little bit broken. And, this could have been that you met this person after a divorce, or, maybe you were actually just really young. Maybe you met someone after, some kind of traumatic event, or it feels like we're both wounded, and we're both showing up in kind of the best energy we're capable of as our wounded selves. And, we feel this pull to each other. We feel this connection to one another. And so we sort of pursue it, but we're both wounded. And we're both wondering if we're worthy of love, if, love is something that is going to be even maybe a part of our life from here on out. It does feel like after, when you're trying to figure out who you are, so like after a divorce, when you've been a part of a couple and you've been a parent, or you've been a husband or a wife, and you just, trying to figure out who you are outside of that relationship again. It's that kind of energy, and just this, like, I don't really know. And, or it's like, when you grow up and you leave your parents' home, and you're trying to figure out, who you are, what your identity is, with all the, possible, trauma, or, whatever you dealt with in your house growing up, a very critical parent, whatever it is, absentee parents, whatever it is, where you're like trying to figure out who you are. Like, I just keep getting this energy of like, I don't know who I am. And it's like you're trying to come together with someone, and there is this attraction, there are these feelings, there's all of it there, but it's like I am not strong enough in myself to trust myself, or to trust another person like this, or yeah, it's like I need to start with myself, and I need to figure myself out, and I need to figure out this card, it's a moon card. It has a moon on it. And moon cards, they're, it says, face what's hidden. Truth will set you free. And it's, our subconscious mind is really affected deeply by our experiences and what we go through. And it really shapes what we believe is possible. And what we believe is possible really shapes the choices and decisions that we make. And it's kind of like there are all these things hidden in the subconscious that are sort of fighting against the ability for this connection to come together. The choices that we're making are a reflection of this phase that we've come out of, this cycle that we've come out of, instead of where we're going still at the time that we meet this person. And I feel like there is a defensiveness. I feel like there is an emotional unavailability here. And it could be on both sides. Because even if we consider ourselves emotionally available, or the more emotionally available one in the coupling, right? We can still open up more. And there are things that happen in life that help us to heal, including time, including space, And in that process, it's like we realize, wow, I thought I was open back then, but like, holy crap, I was not open like I am open now. I even feel like both people may have actually really wanted this to work out at the time. There's also a little bit of an innocence or a sweetness. Yeah, man, wow. Heavy emphasis on the sacral chakra. For some of you, this could have been the first person that you were physically intimate with. Like, I want to clarify so many things here, but I just keep getting, it's like, this is a general reading. Like, as specific as I would like to go, it's like then you start losing people who also, this is their story, you know? So there's just this energy of, you know, take it as it resonates, listen to your own intuition. It could be after some kind of divorce, could be a time in life where you're really changing and rebuilding and figuring yourself out and connecting with yourself and figuring out who you are, figuring out what you want in life. This happens after like all kind of major cycles. So it's like as somebody who's ending a cycle at the time. For some of you, I do get a very youthful energy here where, I mean, this could be like youthful energy. You know, like high school, college, that kind of energy, especially with the sacral chakra. It's like you may have just been beginning to experience physical intimacy with another person. This could have been your first experience. There was a lot of confusion happening here. I don't know if it's, you know, I'm getting like with one person, it's them with them, where, you know, when we are fighting the completion of a cycle or we're fighting some kind of major lesson or resisting, you know, like I just, for whatever reason, this is what's popping in my head, but like when I mean, I grew up in a household with a very, very critical parent, like a narcissistic type mother. And, you know, I never wanted to admit it. I never wanted that to be true. I never wanted to see her that way. And so sometimes I would go even to the opposite end and be like, oh, my mom is the best. Oh my gosh, my mom is so amazing, blah, 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 blah. And I would even like really try to fool myself into thinking that. And with this confusion energy, it's like, I feel like it's someone who, the confusion is really, it's like them looking at them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's their reality versus the reality that they wish they had, or that they kind of create or have in order to like feel okay, or to just, I don't know why we really do that, to feel safe, to try to regulate ourselves, to try to process. It's kind of I think it's a thing that probably is developed in childhood. I'm not a psychologist, so don't quote me on any of this, but it's, you know, we learn to process at the age in which we have to process. And so when you're a kid and you have to process, you learn how to process it as a kid. And so I think, you know, that's why we will sometimes tell ourselves, oh no, I have the best mom in the world, or, you know, this is my reality over here. But the more we resist seeing the truth, the more we can't see the truth, you know, when we're looking at things, anything. Sometimes we don't want to admit we made a mistake. You know, like we married the wrong person, or With this confusion card, I just get this is someone who has to kind of stop resisting the truth and embrace the truth and face what they've even hidden from themselves, the things that they pushed down, the things that they chose to ignore so that they could survive. Especially when you're a kid and you're growing up in a household like that, you need your parents. You need them for food. You need them for shelter. You need them for all these things. So you will ignore things. You will suppress things. You will push things down, almost like to survive. And I don't know if this person did that. Or, you know, like in the case of a marriage, it's like you may have been married to a narcissist and not really wanted to face the truth and not really wanted to admit or acknowledge that until it just became so untenable you couldn't bear it anymore. And then it takes a while to shift your reality into reality, you know? But it feels like, you know, in this case with this confusion, you could be face to face with the love of your life. You could be face to face with everything that you ever needed in your entire life and everything that you ever wanted in your entire life and what you prayed for in your entire life. But if you've shifted away from the truth, you don't see it. You don't have the eyes to see it. You're not ready to see it. You're not ready to take it on. You've got to come to this place where you've shifted into reality in order to see that reality as well. The other person in the connection may have been completing a cycle, may have been almost grieving the loss of a cycle. You know, when something ends, when anything ends, we have this moment where, you know, you're almost always sad. You wouldn't have invested in something. You wouldn't have gone through everything that you went through into investing in something in order to, if you didn't care about it at all. And so even if it was bad or it was uncomfortable or it caused suffering or you knew that it really was not in alignment with you and you wanted it to be over, still the ending is something we grieve, right? And that can be really, really hard. I feel like both of these people were in sort of big states of transition in their life. And this could be like the end of your childhood and you're going to college and now you're responsible for yourself and now you're adulting. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, you know, something that is just so extraordinary or out of the ordinary or personal or unique to you. It's the completion of any cycle. But both of these people, I feel like, had to really get clear about their self-worth. And I think part of why this thing came together was a means to this end. You know, part of the lesson that we had to learn from this soul connection was our self-worth and to value ourselves. And it's interesting because you have this passion card on the bottom of the deck. And for some of you, it's almost like this feeling of having passion and wanting to pursue your passion and maybe focusing on your passion. And maybe saying, this relationship is taking me away from what I think I need to be focused on right now, the thing that feels the most clear to me. And that may have been your career or their career or traveling or, you know, something where it would have maybe been hard to maintain this connection, especially with the shakiness of the foundation of it. And sometimes in choosing something that just belongs to you, wow, I have so much ear ringing right now, it's just insane. Sometimes in choosing something that is your own helps you to find your self-worth. It's like you kind of take that leap and what you sort of find is that you're capable and that you're able, and that kind of starts to make you feel worthy. It starts to make you feel like, wow, I can do this. I can do big, hard things, you know? So I feel like there's something here where there's some kind of connection that was happening where it was happening at a really, I feel like it was awkward, you know, time in life for these people. And there were other things that these people needed to focus on, but it sort of feels like it's getting another opportunity here, or like these people have figured out the things that they were lacking the first time this came around. Guys, I mean, you have back together. Wow. Okay, remember I just said like there wasn't a huge discrepancy here in your core values, and then the core values card comes out. It's kind of like, I feel like both these people actually wanted the same thing. I think they wanted to be loved. I think they wanted to be seen and heard. I think, you know, they may have even been in agreement as to like whether they wanted a family or not, or where they wanted to settle down, or what their life was going to look like moving forward, how they valued education, how they valued, you know, church or religion, or, you know, it's like, okay, all those things were there. I feel like there's just this energy of check the box, check the box, check the box, check the box, check the box. These destructive habits, it feels like maybe both people had a fear of abandonment. Well, okay, everyone really has a fear of abandonment. It's just, where are you falling on the spectrum? You know, nobody wants to be abandoned. Nobody is like, oh yeah, I think it's cool to be abandoned. I'd like to add that to my repertoire of things that I've experienced in this life. Like, no, being abandoned is painful. It hurts. Trust me, it's terrible. And yet facing abandonment, actually experiencing abandonment will propel you into such growth most of the time. But anyway, I just feel like there could have been patterns here that needed to be broken. I think that one of those patterns could have been like a difficulty really opening up to intimacy, really trusting another person, really letting someone in, really even like letting your love shine. I'm hearing a song. I don't know. Okay, you know, it's like feeling comfortable to just really love and be loved. And believing that, you know, you're worthy of being loved. And when you don't have those things, you do destructive things. You tend to self-sabotage. You tend to even overthink and come up with scenarios of all the things that could go wrong instead of going right, you know? Somebody is definitely manifesting getting back together here. Somebody is definitely, I mean, it almost feels like destiny or the universe. It's so strong. It's like two magnets, like finding each other in outer space. All right, I don't know, you guys. All right, here, let's dive into the tarot. How about that? But there's so much right here, and there always was so much right here, it feels like. Maybe someone's gotten divorced and they're free again. Ace of Pentacles. I felt the Ace of Pentacles. Did I say it out loud? Sometimes I don't know if I say it out loud. I used to not say it out loud, and I try now to say everything out loud. But it's hard, you know. 9 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. This is someone's wish fulfillment. 6 of Wands. Oh my God. You know, it feels like, is that the movie One Day or something? I can't even remember who's in the movie. It's like this guy and this girl that become friends in college, I want to say. And they kind of like hook up occasionally, and they obviously sort of like each other. They have like a real easy relationship. I mean, in the sense that they can really talk to each other and they're comfortable with each other in a way that they probably wouldn't be if they had been dating. And then he figures out that he loves her, and he goes to her, and she's got a boyfriend. And then she figures out that she loves him, and she goes to him, and he's got a wife or something. You know, I can't remember exactly how it went. And then they finally get together. I hope I don't ruin anything for anyone. I won't tell you how the ending ends, though. It's actually pretty surprising. I'll just call it that. But there's this energy of like holding space for this, or like always wanting this, or always, it's like we may like let it go. We may not always be like, oh gee, I really hope it works out with so-and-so, my first love or whatever, but we always come back to it. You know, it's the solid thing that we always come back to of, you know, if there's an opportunity for a new beginning in my life, it's like I come back to this thought, to this idea, to this one person. You know, I may go on and date other people. I may have other relationships. I may even get married. I may even have kids with someone else. I may even, you know, I don't know. But like, I always come back to this one moment. You see how the Ace of Pentacles, it's even like, there's like a real star energy here. And the Nine of Cups is here, which is like that wish fulfillment, or that, you know, this is always the thing that I hold in my heart of hearts as like a dream, or, you know, something that could be possible. Let me clarify. Yeah, it's so crazy. Ouch. Oh, still with the ribs sometimes, you guys. Oh. Yeah, with the Nine of Cups and the Three of Wands, it's like this is like, you know, when I'm planning and I'm strategizing and I'm looking out my life and I have some opportunity for a new beginning, this always comes to my mind as my wish, my, you know, something that I wish could happen, or could it happen, you know? When I consider what I really, really want, when everything is wide open to me, it's this. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, it feels so much like that movie, and it feels so much like this energy that I got right as I was turning on the video camera. It was so crazy. It came through so strongly. It's like, you know, you may not even realize it, but every step you're taking, you know, when you have to make up your mind, what direction am I going, or what am I kind of moving toward? It's like, even accidentally, the steps that you take are aligning you with this, or moving you in this direction, or taking you toward this beginning. And then you have these two sixes on the bottoms of your decks, and you have the Six of Wands and the Six of Cups. The Six of Wands can be a card of engagement, but it's also victory after a long battle. It's also that energy of like recognition, accomplishment. Which, you know, I feel like this is someone from your past that is a real standout person, that is, you know, like of all the people that have come and gone from your life, which, you know, you don't give any thought to, or you don't, or maybe it comes up every once in a while, or, you know, something will make you think of it, or you'll see a post on Instagram or something and be like, oh, I wonder how that person's doing, whatever. This is not like that. This is something that, you know, it's like even when you are remembering things, it stands out. It holds a special place. And you know, when you have something like that, it's interesting because how it's coming across to me is that you're always aligning with it. You're always like almost unconsciously, like I keep getting this magnetic energy, and I'm even getting like the energy of a compass, which I feel like I saw a compass. Oh yeah, on the core values. And it's like, this is your magnetic north, this relationship, this connection. And I feel like it is for both of you. Got the Eight of Cups in reverse and the Seven of Cups upright with the King of Swords. For me, this is someone seriously thinking about how they're going to come back around, how they're going to come back, how they're going to revisit this. What path am I going to take? How am I going to do it? How is this person going to come to me? It's even something very logical, or like this person may be taking a very logical approach, but I mean, I think they're thinking about it heavily a lot with this sword, King of Swords. I think that they actually think about this kind of a lot. And I feel like they don't tell anyone because the sword is pointing down. And he's kind of resting on it. It's like his own thing that props him up. It is also like, how could this go? You may have also been dealing with someone whose thoughts really got in the way with this confusion energy. And now that we're seeing this King of Swords energy, it could be that this person has mastered this overthinking energy, or this energy of confusion, or shifted reality, or not really facing the truth. They may be someone who's gotten very, very honest and has really come into alignment in their life with the King of Swords energy. And they may be someone who really is like ready to step forward to speak with the King of Swords energy. They may have thought about it enough to be sure. Wow. You can't let go of each other. Oh my God. Ah, the tarot. The tarot, the tarot, the tarot. Ah. Eight of Cups being clarified by death and reverse. Rebirth. I just said reverse. Interesting. This is definitely something that wants new life, that wants to have a comeback around, that wants to get another chance, that wants to be revisited. And it almost even feels like there is a spiritual element to this connection that like keeps it coming back up as an idea in someone's mind here. Of, you know, thinking about coming back around. Could be for both people. Feels like the universe, because it feels like there is some aspect of fate or destiny that is actually very real with this connection. Then you have the Seven of Cups with the Two of Cups. It's like, I was really feeling with the Seven of Cups, it's like, how am I going to get this back? How am I going to bring this back around? How am I going to, you know, there are a lot of options, and there's a lot of options of how it could go, and there's a lot of options. Like, if this is someone that you haven't spoken to, or they haven't spoken to you, or you don't know how the other one is doing, it's almost like, like, do they have somebody else? Do they have, you know, are they still in the same area? Are they, you know, like all of the questions that come. But there's one thing that we're not questioning. There's one thing that we know, but it's like, do they also feel the same? Do they also consider me to be their Two of Cups, their soulmate? With this King of Swords and the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, it's almost like this deep inner knowing that surely if I'm still thinking about this, I don't know how much time has passed, but if I'm still thinking about this, if I'm still trying to figure this out, if this is still a thought that is revisited on a regular basis, then they must be holding on to me too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I get that. You guys, there's definitely a soul contract here. You've got Justice, the Star card, and the Ten of Cups. This is like, it's almost like a deep inner knowing that this is your chance at emotional contentment, or that it could be that, because I keep getting this feeling of like, it's so tragic, or it's such a shame that, you know, we got together, or we met each other at the time we met, because, you know, I didn't know who I was, or I didn't feel worthy of love, or I hadn't evolved. But for both people, it's like I keep getting this feeling of, no, we had to meet them, because that was the catalyst for us to become who we are now, or it played a critical, pivotal role in it. But it's kind of like, you may have even left this on a, or even told yourself like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll come back around, or, you know, something that's meant for you won't, you know, pass you by. And it feels as though it's getting some kind of chance here. You do have the Five of Wands on the bottom of the deck with the High Priestess underneath it. There could have been some kind of blockage, some kind of interference, or, you know, you may have met with obstacles because that was as far as you were supposed to go at that point. See, you have the Three of Swords with the Seven of Cups, which is also giving me this confusion energy. And, you know, there's something here where I feel like, you know, a big part of the problem, like what ended up kind of preventing this from sort of being able to move forward at the time, was, you know, this mindset or mentality or way of looking at something, or, you know, inability to see the truth of something from some previous kind of suffering that needed healing. And you have the Star card and the Ten of Cups, and the Star card is healing energy. You know, it's the card that comes right after the Tower. And you've got the Ten of Cups here, which is like, you know, with the Star card, it's kind of giving me this sense that it isn't just about meeting the person that you can have emotional contentment with. It's about where you're at when you meet them, what all of the circumstances are in your life and in their life and around the relationship at the time. Like there are so many things that fall into play that, like, you could be standing in front of the right person or your person or the best person and still not be capable of like opening up to receive that or to like pursue that or to actually experience the emotional contentment that's available with that person in that moment, because you're not emotionally content on your own, because you're wounded, because you have not healed, because you can't see that that person is that person because you're not seeing things clearly. But with the Strength card and the Justice card, this is telling me like we have overcome the lower vibrational tendencies that we once had in order to kind of honor this soul contract, or to like show up for this thing legitimately and real. And there is a very, very, very strong spiritual connection here, I would say, with the Star, the Strength card, and the Justice card all right here. I mean, those are really profound, deep, spiritual, soulmate kind of connections where, a soulmate, what is a soulmate? It's someone who we have something to learn from in this life. And, the deepest, biggest, strongest, whatever, can be like a real intimate relationship, whatever that could potentially last for our whole lives. And I think the strength of the connection was always there. I think, the soul contract, obviously, it was always there. But with the Star card and the 10 of Cups coming out with these two energies, it's kind of saying the timing was not there. It is now. It feels like with the Star card, this is talking about destiny. It's talking about things aligning. We had those 2 sixes on the bottom of the deck where it's like things are coming into alignment. You do have the Page of Cups here, which I feel like there could be some kind of apology. Or this can also be a secret admirer energy. Like somebody or maybe both people haven't really felt wholly put back together since this thing ended. Or it feels like they... it's like I'm always missing something. Like I might look normal or I might look fine, but it's like I'm really always like missing something, or my head is always somewhere else kind of energy. But it's also like you might not realize how much this person has actually thought about you over the years, or has like Googled you or looked you up on social media or whatever. There's also, though, this energy of like wanting to express something now that I didn't or I couldn't express back then. With the 5 of Wands and the Page of Cups being on the bottom of the deck, the 5 of Wands is oftentimes for me like a blockage between the heart and the throat chakra. The Page of Cups is like really being able to speak directly from the heart chakra. Oh my God. There's that moon, almost the same moon. And do you see how many arches with flowers on both sides you guys have gotten in this reading? It's giving me the Ace of Pentacles vibe. And it's giving me like you're walking through some kind of portal, some kind of gateway to where this connection is possible. You have the Queen of Wands with the 2 of Cups with the Moon card on the bottom of the deck. It's like there's nobody else I want. There's no one else that pulls me in. There's no one else that has this allure the way that you do, for each other. It's like a secret. It's like no one else could understand. It's like Your relationship may have been a bit of a secret. Other people may not have necessarily known about it. Other people may not necessarily know that you both continue to desire each other. It may be something that you keep very much to yourself with this Moon card. Look at all this green that all of a sudden just showed up, the heart chakra. I feel like there's a lot that we keep to ourselves here with this connection. With the Six of Swords and the Queen of Wands, it's like, it's almost this feeling of, I want this, but I know I shouldn't, or like not being okay with how much I want something. You know, I don't know, for some of you, this can be like someone that you stalk online or someone that's stalking you online, where it's just, it's like, I want this so much that I'm almost not okay with it, or I'm almost afraid of how much I want it, or what I've done for it, or because of it, or, do you know what I'm saying? And then with the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups, you know, there's not something that I regret so much as this, you know? This is like a very deep, heavy feeling of like, did I lose my chance? Did I take my chance too soon? Did I mess it up too bad? Did I, because you got the Seven of Swords with the Moon card. You know, this could be someone who didn't really take accountability at a period of time. They may have sort of, you know, even ghosted, or, you know, just not been fully honest here. They may have kept some things really hidden. And judging from this energy that I feel, it probably has a lot to do with their emotions. Like, they may not have ever really been willing to admit how much you meant to them to your face. But it's like, there's no loss like this loss with the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups. And you know, it may be something where you both have not really ever said, you know, this was a crippling loss, or this, you know, this still gets me. This is still where my mind goes. This is still where, you know, I get sad, where I have really big, deep feelings. This connection right here, it's almost like I left my heart here. And maybe I've tried to have other relationships, and maybe I felt like I loved people, or that I care about people. But when it comes to like big, big, big love, there's one person whose name is tattooed across my heart, and it's this person, you know? It's very strong. It's very strong heart chakra energy right there. You're getting the Seven of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Five of Cups. Jeez. I have to literally say that, like, someone may have blocked someone, literally, here with the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Cups. But I honestly, you know, with the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Cups, it feels like there's a sense of like, at one point, I feel like not wanting to really open up, or being a little defensive, or being a little closed off, having a really hard time opening up. It may have been like trust issues, or, you know, we saw abandonment on the bottom of that deck of this one here. And it can be, I felt like with the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Cups, of where it's like, there are things I didn't say, there were things I didn't do, I was scared to put myself out there, or really put myself out there. I was defensive, I was a little closed off. I wasn't as free or open with my spirit as I am now, or with, you know, and this can be a lot of things. I mean, it could be physically, it could be emotionally, it could be a lot of things. Passionately, I wasn't free. I didn't have this free spirited nature about myself that I do now, you know, or like, it's kind of coming across honestly like confidence with both of these people in its own way, okay? And it may be confidence to love, confidence to let someone in, confidence to trust someone. You know, my little grand dog is going through dog school right now, and they are working with her to not be reactive to other dogs. This is how I broke my rib. And what they're doing is they're teaching her confidence. The poor thing, I don't know if I ever told you this, but she had been returned to the Humane Society twice before my daughter got her. And she was really kind of hyper, or a crow just came into my bush outside my office window. I don't really feel like I've ever seen a crow in that bush before. Oh my God, and last night the snake was back outside my office window. This crow is crazy. The sun is shining on it, and it's, you know, it's black, but it looks like an oil slick where it's like a rainbow sheen on it. Anyway, they're teaching my little grandbaby confidence, so that she's not protective and reactive. And that, I don't know, but that's how I feel. That's the energy I feel here. I thought, oh, how interesting, you know, I would have addressed the reactivity, but it's actually, no, she lacks confidence because she's been returned, and she's, you know, poor little thing, and she's the sweetest little girl. Oh man, my daughter was a preschool teacher and worked with neurodivergent kids, and she could recognize it in my little grand dog, and that she was like, no, this dog needs a good life, and I will be patient, and I will stick with her, and I will do what it takes. Like, she knew what she was signing up for, and they have the cutest little relationship. And my daughter can reach her where I can't reach her. But anyway, all of that being said, it feels like there's this confidence that's coming in, or that has come in through the experience of living life, and even through the experience of this loss, of the loss of this connection. It's kind of like, you know, have you ever seen someone who, like a track runner, you know, who gets up there and they blow it at the starting blocks, and then they practice at the starting blocks, so that the next time they get their opportunity to run a race, they're not going to jack it up at the starting blocks? Well, you know, it feels like this loss was that loss based on something like that this person could, or that both people, it just set these people on this path of direction, having direction as to what they needed to learn, what they needed to overcome, like where they them with them felt that they fell short, that contributed to this ending. And you have the Star card with the Knight of Wands. It's like, it's time for this person to pursue their passion. And this is a very confident energy, the Star card and the Knight of Wands. It's like, okay, now is time. It's time for me to have what I want. I've done all the practicing in the world on the starting blocks. I'm ready to go. And, you know, with the Four of Wands on the bottom of the deck, it's like to kind of set this thing right, to, you know, experience the happiness, the bliss, the joy, the celebration of finally, after all of this time, sort of getting what I want, or having what I want. But there's a lot of confidence here, even in the Queen of Cups, and even in the Knight of Wands. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign. You have Aquarius here, you've had Leo here, you've had Libra, you've had Scorpio. This is so crazy. I feel like someone is coming forward here, Pisces, with a lot of confidence to say, you know what? I feel you were my fate. I never let you go. You've always been my wish fulfillment. And, you know, here I am. You got the Death card and the Six of Swords in reverse with the Nine of Swords in the bottom of the deck. The Six of Swords can be a comeback around energy, like what was troubled before is now at peace, and now I can come back around. With the Nine of Swords upright, this is fear, but does this give you the impression of fear at all? No. And the swords, it's like they have been pulled up out of the earth. It's like they're no longer connecting there. And so it kind of feels like to me where someone was afraid before, they're not now. Wow, you guys have had so many sixes in this reading. You have the Death card with the Knight of Cups. You know, in for some reason I want to say Aston Martin Tarot, but obviously that is not correct. Rider-Waite Tarot. The Death card and the Knight of Cups are almost exactly the same. And it's giving me like new life. The rebirth is in this Knight of Cups. It's like someone who's finally ready to follow their heart. And with the Six of Swords and the Lovers, it's like this is a choice to come back around to the person that it always was and always will be for eternity. You know what I mean? It's like it feels that deep. And then you have the Chariot on the bottom of the deck, and it feels like, okay, the gate is up. The gate of fear is up. It's no longer, you know, touching the ground. And so here we are, you know, off to the races. Yeah, look at that. Underneath the Chariot is the Fool card. Oh my God, and underneath that is the Ace of Cups. So, you know, Pisces, I really feel like you have someone that is coming strongly towards you. You have these two knights here at the end of your reading and the Chariot. You know, this is someone who's definitely, you've weighed heavily on their mind, possibly for some of you for years. And they're ready to, they're confident. They are feeling differently about themselves and about connecting. But they're not feeling differently about you. They feel the same way about you. Maybe even more so, because it does feel like, it's like I wouldn't still feel this way at this point if it wasn't true. You know what I mean? That may be part of the confidence, you know, is just how long this has been going on. All right, you guys, for some of you, there is travel involved, you know, with the Chariot. And then I just saw for water signs, they're getting the card distant. So there may be travel involved. There may be, you may be at a literal distance from each other. You could also be, you know, that can be emotional, physical, spiritual, like whatever, but we're coming together. You have passion. Again, you have passion on the bottom of the deck there. Wishy-washy. Yes, where somebody wasn't sure before, they definitely do know now. I thought about reaching out, but I don't know what to say. Anxious. I'm ready for more than just texts. I can't walk away, and distant. If you're dealing with a fire sign, I want to be vulnerable with you. Wow, that feels pretty profound. Regret. We definitely saw that with the Five of Cups coming out twice. My karmic story is ending. I want your attention. I just need more time. And repressing, but that was actually in reverse. Okay, and if you're dealing with an earth sign, you are getting, we will be together again. Resentment, daydreaming, I am afraid to trust. Wait for me. I am overthinking everything and excited. And if you're dealing with an air sign, Pisces, hopeful. I am trying to figure things out. Regret how I handled things before. I don't care what people think anymore. Indecisive, and I just want to go back in time. All right, Pisces, this is what I have for you. I really hope it helps. This is definitely a blast from the past reading, I feel like. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Until next time, guys, I am sending you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.